So in this part of the spiral right here, we are going to do dry brush, which might end up looking a little bit like this, or like this. And then we'll finish off with whatever you want, or just a big flat area. So right here will be dry brush, and then finishing off however I want. So dry brush is going to be easiest if you have a flat brush. Let's see, I'm going to use a bigger flat brush. A flat brush, ooh, this one's perfect because it has kind of those separations between the little bits. And then I'm going to get just the right amount of paint. And I'm going to, let's see, so I've got my cups of water, and I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do red here. So I'm going to add a little bit of reddish water to this red, but not too much. Let's put a little bit more over there in the orange. And let's see, let's get some of that out. It's a little bit too watery. So I want just enough water so that this will pick up color, but not a ton of water. So let me see if we can bring this close. So this has a little bit too much water on it. I'm going to, just about to pour paint onto my drawing, but I just took this, and that's going to be perfect. Okay, so it's just oozy enough. And I'm going to take this brush that has those, it's nice and flat, and it's got those separations between the little tines, the little brushes, and I'm going to put the color on there. I'm going to take a look and see if there's still those separations, and I can even put it on my, oh, my paper towel is not in the frame. I can even take a look on my paper towel if it's kind of coming like that. That's perfect. Okay, I think it's just right. And then dry brush is not a thing that you can do with great exactness. At least I can't. So there's my dry brush area, and then I'm going to, I think I'm going to finish out with this same red that I have. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Let me just add a little bit of brown to it so it's not exactly like the center. And I'll just finish that up. Play around with the transition there. And the edge. And then the last thing to do is to fill in these shapes. So the green around there is dry by now, and I'm going to use this this brush, this round brush, and I'm just going to use the colors that I have here. I might modify them a little bit as I go along, but I don't want my brush to be too wet, so I'm drying it off a little bit, and then I'm going to, I take a look at right here. Okay, so I kind of soak some water down, and then see the edge that I want to get is my brush is pointing towards that edge, and just kind of moving the color along. And then here my brush is more straight up and down. I might even turn this around so that I can point this little brush into the corner and then out like that. And then I'm not going to mess around with it. These little shapes are going to have, I'm going to play around with other textures on top of them. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to just kind of free flow this around without a care in the world. So sometimes when the shape is very circular, you can just kind of aim down at it and it just kind of comes together real easily. Let's see here. I'm going to use a different type of brush just so you can see a little bit of variation. So I'm going to add a little bit of orange there, and with this teeny tiny brush I might be able to get into this teeny tiny area a little bit easier, and maybe I will outline the shape and then I can always get into corners much easier if I'm pointing my brush towards the corner. So that's what I'll do right here. Ooh, kind of lost it for a second. Let's use, there we go. I went over a little bit, and you can tell even when I go over the line, I think, no, I shouldn't go over the line, but we're not in coloring class. It's fine to go over the line. So, and then let's see, I just want to give you a variety of brushes. So here is a flat brush, and it's angled a little bit. So I might have this part that I can angle right into that corner, and then this part that I can angle right into that corner. And if I'm right next to other wet paint, it might bleed, so I just either allow that to happen and don't care about it, or I can make sure that there's a little bitty border of paper. Okay, so let's make a few more, and then we'll be done with this video. So this is kind of our foundational part of, let's see, I want the round brush. This is kind of the beginning part of this, this spiral. And definitely time yourself so that you're not overdoing it. If you start going towards like, you know, if it's taking you upwards of an hour and a half, then, you know, just stop. Because it's meant to be an experiment, not your master's thesis. Let's see. Just want to fill these in real quick. And then we'll let it dry for a good long time. Depending on if you've got a hair dryer, then feel free to dry it like you dry your hair. I don't use a hair dryer for anything except drying paint, but I don't have one at my disposal at the moment. So don't worry if you don't have a hair dryer. You can put it on top of a heater. That'll help it dry quicker. You can put it in the sun. That'll help it dry quicker. Ooh. Yeah, there's a nice orange. Okay, so all experiment. It's all about experiment, okay? So that is where we're at, and this is where we are going to let it sit and dry very thoroughly.